Who'd have thought it? You can speak to someone for an hour. I think it was an hour, maybe an hour and a half. When it's just you coming to a camera, you now feel really uncomfortable talking to a camera on my own. Oh well, I guess I'm just going to have to get used to this. Let's introduce today's guest. He's an international touring drummer. Not jealous at all. He's... What else has he done? I've just spoke to him for an hour and I can't remember what he's done. Dude toured America. He's done gigs in Japan. He's done gigs absolutely everywhere. He's... what else? He's a drum teacher. He's potentially a crew, drumming on a cruise. I don't know. He's doing all sorts of things. You'll learn about it in today's podcast because he speaks heavily about his love for drumming, his love for playing internationally. He's really, really cool. He speaks a lot about his drum kit, his cymbals. It's the first time we've ever met. We have never met before. Been friends on Instagram, on the gram, for a long while. So enjoy an hour of me and Jamie Davies chatting absolute smack about drums. Bless you.
There's a soundbite.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Jay.
Stole your name. Very sorry.
You did.
I did.
You did. It's okay.
Yeah, how are we doing today?
I'm good. There's a few good J drummers.
I know. I think, I'll be honest with you, I'm obsessed with Jay Weinberg, so I really...
I was thinking, who's Jay from Tesseract?
Oh, is that his name?
Yeah, it's Jay something, isn't it?
I'm stealing everyone's name on their podcasts now.
Yeah,
their
true.
podcast ideas. I'm just becoming a cheap Craig Reynolds. This is the Craig Reynolds at home.
You're gonna have to grow your hair out.
Just the top.
Dye it white.
Yeah. And then get a massive tattoo across here.
Yeah. You can go to the same tattoo artist. It's this fellow in Glasgow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine he's not cheap.
Well, yeah, I mean, tattoos in general aren't, are they?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
Unless you know them and you're friends with them. That's the...
Yeah.
You know.
I have none, and I kind of made the decision, I legitimately do want work done.
Yeah.
And so at the month I was supposed to go back to the US, one of the friends of the band, he's a tattoo artist.
Right.
And so I kind of had it in my head, oh, I'm going to get some work done with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I got really sick. I had to come home. So.
Yeah. Try and move the mic so it's like pointing towards you a bit more. There you go.
Is this better?
Yeah, if you need to change it on an angle so that as you're looking at me, it can, there you go.
Yeah,
that's a bit better.
That's ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's ideal, yeah. So, fresh from the US.
Fresh from Japan.
Fresh from Japan now.
And then,
I forgot you went US, Japan, and then came home.
Yeah, well... US, Japan for about, I'm not even joking, for about 15 minutes, Korea, and then home. Well, like London, then home.
Wow, was it good?
Which part?
We'll start with the States. Let's start with America. Playing in America. That's got to be a surreal experience.
Yeah, so...
Especially the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Yeah. Oh, you done some research. That's cool.
Of course I have.
Okay, yeah, so...
I'm good at this.
You are good at this.
It's my second episode. I'm doing well.
Pro. So basically the US side of things, that wasn't a planned part of the tour. Just for some context, this is with my Hollywood-based band, the Falling Doves. The actual tour dates posted, if you looked on Bands in Town, there was nothing scheduled for the US. They just wanted me to come over first to basically jam with them, hang out before we head over to Japan.
Right.
But then, we got there and we just booked a bunch of gigs. And so we played shitloads, 4 or 5 hour shows in the US. It was pretty intense.
Did you repeat any songs?
No, not during the set. No. So these guys are all year round. They're just touring and playing shows. It's they're proper old school rock band, and so they'll take on, if they need to, a Beatles cover show. They can do 3-4 hours of originals, whatever keeps them afloat sort of thing. They're proper gritty, rock and roll. And so, we get there and that's kind of what we start doing. The Whiskey A Go-Go gig wasn't a planned thing at all.
Really?
We were in the car, we were in the middle of a traffic jam, and Chris, the front man, gets a call and he just puts it on loudspeaker. And it's just hey dude, I had a headlining act drop out of the Whiskey A Go-Go. You want to fill in?
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. I could, funnily enough, literally on the flight there, I watched The Dirt. The
best film ever.
Yeah, exactly. And is that one of the? I mean, I think the first big venue they play there, it's the Whiskey. You know,
It's what every LA band does eventually, really, isn't it?
yeah. But I literally like had it in mind, be like, oh, that'd be cool to play, didn't it? And then like cut to
Yeah.
like like 5-10 days later, and we're playing it, which was pretty fun.
Honestly, if I could choose a US tour without Whiskey A Go Go or just play Whiskey A Go Go, I'd choose Whiskey A Go Go.
Really,
Yeah, honestly, because that venue is like everything.
it's a really cool venue.
It's like it's the venue that even huge bands come back and play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when Kiss played it the other year and had the whole of like the strip shut off so they could play.
yeah. I'd done my best to not geek out and kind of play it cool.
Yeah.
Namely because I don't know if we're gonna have to edit this out. I'm gonna have to after this because I was 18 for the entirety of that,
Yeah.
and obviously everywhere's 21 and up.
No, everyone lies about their age nowadays.
Yeah, it's true, but certain venues like the Whiskey, they're weird about it.
Right.
Like they were.
I think we might cut this out then so you don't get
Well,
blocked from the
well,
Whiskey.
I'll check. It might be okay because I think they did find out and they were just like, "Oh, just be out before this time."
Yeah.
And then we just didn't do
No,
that.
because you got to be 21 over there. But you can have a gun at like 12.
Yeah, something like that. yeah, so probably in one of the states. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, it was mad. Like, to be honest, like the best part was just being shown around LA and Hollywood specifically by people who, that they kind of know the ins and out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this like super touristy thing. Like, don't get me wrong, we went on like Hollywood Boulevard and all that, but I had zero interest in like all the tourist traps.
Yeah.
I was just like, what cool places do these guys know?
Yeah.
And so we went to a bunch of, you know how like I was talking about like my warehouse in Liverpool. It's like the only way you'd know about it is if you just like know the guys there.
Yeah.
Like that sort of underground stuff. Like at one point where like we walk into this hotel. I think it's like Ziggy's, David Bowie's hotel or something like that.
Oh right. I didn't know we had a hotel.
Yeah.
It's David Bowie probably does anyway.
Yeah, and the way it was explained to me was like it's this like rock star hotel.
Right.
Like all the when the big boys are in town, that's where they stay. And I was like, hold on, we've not booked a room here. Why are we here?
Yeah.
And so, we're just like hanging out. And before I know, because we've all got like our leather jackets on, we're rock band coded.
You're banding.
We're
banding for real.
Exactly. we are absolutely banding. And so before we know it, like, like staff are talking to us and then like random people coming in and out, like talking to us and like everyone wants to know what we're up to sort of thing.
Right.
And like at one point, the owner of some like gig agency or record label or something, I don't know, someone who was like cool and had, had some kind of business to share with us,
Contacts.
came over, and it was purely because we were just in that. But it was like that everywhere we went.
Yeah.
It's like everyone you see out is up to something.
Yeah.
In LA. So
that's true. Yeah. There's always something going on. There's always a party.
I'll have to show you some pictures. It was funny because like after we arrived, one of the first things we done. I'll tell what happened on the first day after this, because like one of the first things we done after the first show we done was I got taken to a stylist in West Hollywood, in like what I can only describe as like the gay capital of the world,
right?
Based off of the world I have seen. It was really funny, and so I got taken to this gay stylist dude. His name was JJ,
right?
And he's like, "Oh, honey." You can't. He's like, "Oh, honey," he's it was great, and he's basically like guided me through what I can and can't wear depending on the different club and specific area of LA. Yeah, because if you wanted like, if we like for example, there was like so I don't know the names of all these places, so I'm gonna sound like such an LA newbie because I am, but there was like, for example, like golf clubs and stuff that I couldn't get into because the only shoes I had with me were like these like red Vans,
right?
And so they were like, "Oh no, that's too childish."
I think we've got the same red Vans.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and they were like, "No, that's too childish. That's like I think it was like San Diego vibes." And I was like, "Oh, okay." That's
San Diego vibes.
Yeah, that's like, they're like, "No, that's not LA. That's San Diego." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And so no, but that's how it is. It's like clicky.
Yeah.
And so
it's like if you wear 110s, that's a Liverpool vibe.
Something like that, yeah. Like they basically had to style me so one, I could get into these places that we were playing, and two, no one would question my age,
right?
Which was really cool. They bought me clothes, dressed me up, they took care of me. It was fantastic. So it was the best part of California was honestly just being shown around by people who live there. Like we went to like Blink-182's favorite small taco shop, which is pretty cool. I had some fish tacos.
Oh yeah, sick, sick.
That was pretty sick.
The thing is with places like Los Angeles is you can literally go down any street corner and you could find someone famous there.
Well,
Like,
it's
oh,
funny
who
you
did you
mentioned
see?
that.
Who
It's
did you
funny.
see?
It's funny you mentioned that. I don't. There's another thing I don't know if I can say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Um, so we were driving through like the Hollywood, like just like hills, just like rich people area mansions and
Yeah.
stuff. And one of the people in our group, he used to do some work for, it was either Ringo Starr or Ringo Starr's company or
Right.
something like that. He'd like deliver amps to his house, and so randomly it's like, hey, you want to stop at Ringo's place? And so
What, you just stopped at Ringo Starr's house?
no, we didn't like stalk him. It was just like because we were talking about it, and someone, I forget who, someone mentioned, oh, you know his like mansions, it's like covered in stars because like Ringo Starr. And I was like,
Yeah.
no way, that'd be so funny. And so because it just happened to be on the way, we like briefly stopped outside,
Yeah.
and he was like, look, check the stars out, and we're like, that's mad.
Wow.
But then by pure coincidence, like a week later, it was his birthday. And so he was outside there's like this like chrome like peace symbol statue.
Yeah, that's his
But
thing, innit?
but I think we were all like a bit fucked from staying up late, so we just didn't end up speaking to him.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because like whilst I was there, I met a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it was weird. Every single person there worked in entertainment or like music or something. It was bizarre. Like everyone was like, yeah, my dad owns this. Like,
That's LA for you.
You know, it was bizarre. It's like. And don't get me wrong, it's I don't want to say like, oh yeah, everyone's a nepo baby, because there's people who are like working really fucking hard on films, like 60-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy because like in Liverpool, obviously there's not like a massive film industry here. So if someone says, oh yeah, I work on movies, you're like, whoa, that's mad.
Yeah.
But like over there, it's very, very normal.
Yeah.
In LA, so that was like quite a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything's
cool,
like in this country especially, you don't get stuff like that.
yeah,
Really, not up this end anyway. You've got to be in a special sort of place to find people like
that's
that.
like there's no like condensed music and film industry in
Yeah.
the UK that I've seen of.
Unless you go to like London or like Manchester, you know, the movie city
I mean,
stuff.
who knows, maybe I'm just not clued up. I don't know.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
the same, to be fair.
Maybe.
But LA is a special kind of place.
Yeah, it was so expensive though. It was so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in LA on holiday, we went to do you know the Target at the end of the strip next to where the Beatles plaque is?
Yeah, I do.
That Target, right? So
yeah, I do actually.
so like, all the way from Chester to LA, right? Can you remember?
It's just funny that I think of being in the same Target. That's funny.
So we went in there for a drink, and I came outside, and I saw there was a copper stood on the pavement, and next to him was a homeless guy with a big green bong just ripping.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the craziest place I've ever been.
Oh yeah, no, LA hobos do it different, man.
Oh, yeah.
We had, at one point I was in a car with someone, and we straight up had like this homeless dude. He licked the window, like, straight up, just like full on. I'm not gonna do an impression because I don't. But I'm sure you can imagine it. So that was quite the shock.
Jesus, it is kind of scary over there, isn't it? Because it's like it's bad as well.
There were a couple incidents where I was like, okay, I gotta keep my wits about me here.
I remember we got followed down the strip by a huge tall guy who was like limping, but it was like, have you ever seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the scene where they come out the pub absolutely trolley,
Yeah.
and then there's that there's the big zombie, and you can see the silhouette of him coming towards him. They're like, "Ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do," and then he's going, "Oh!" Like that is exactly how it was, and it was scary as anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So, Moondogs. What's the latest? Because I've seen gigs getting advertised and things going on, and I didn't know it was your face until you told me that you're in Moondogs.
Yeah. So, like, some people are kind of confused about what that was because they've like not seen all the posts. Basically, it's like half Beatles tribute band, half like theatre production. So
Right.
I'm not much of an actor, but I like for some strange reason I was compelled to agree to do this because they essentially wanted actors who are able to play their instruments so they can have like a theatre performance of, you know, like people telling a modified Beatles tale, and also in between, you know, like play the songs on stage.
So you've got to act as Ringo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like acting as
God.
Ringo. Oh, I know, it's terrifying.
Have you got the voice down yet, or have you been working on that?
Oh, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got like there's a lovely fella. His name's Andrew Games. He's like the acting director and also like my coach. Like we done like a 1-to-1 session and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna do more of those. But I've got a gig with them tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Where are you playing tonight?
Actually,
Well, actually, it won't be tonight when this goes out, but it'll be tonight. Tonight, the day we do it.
yeah, Tuesday the 27th.
That is the
It
date
is the
today.
date today. That's Arts Bar Hope Street.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like it's a free entry thing. It's just a promotional thing for the shows in October.
Because you're doing the bigger one. Where are you playing again?
I'm doing a bit. Oh, the Gladstone Theatre.
Gladstone Theatre.
Yeah, that's where the like the actual shows are.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, last year it was meant to be the Epstein. Last year it was the Epstein Theatre, but
Yeah.
obviously it's like closed down. So they've had to like last minute scramble to find somewhere else, and they went with the Glad.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know some of the production guys are worried about like getting people over to the Whirl, but it's not really too far from. I think it's like Birkenhead North. It's one of the Whirl stations. That
Yeah.
You're probably more well versed in that than me. But
Yeah. I mean, I use them a lot. The train stations and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've never been like South Whirl. I've always like, I've got loads of friends in Wallasey and New Brighton,
Mm-hmm.
and like some in Birkenhead. Beyond that, I've not really been
Yeah.
in like South Whirl. I've been to like Chester like once before, you know.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, this is my second time in Chester.
What kit are you going to be using for the Ringo stuff?
Okay, so
Are you getting the Ludwig?
here's the thing. It's interesting you bring that up. Just to clarify, I don't have a Ludwig endorsement deal.
Mm-hmm.
The Falling Doves have a Ludwig
Right.
endorsement deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if they're gonna work something out and see if we can utilize that connection yet or not. But
Mhm.
in the worst case scenario, I think I have like a black pearl export.
Right.
So
yeah.
as long as it's not like too, because I've got like my practice kit in my rehearsal space is a chrome pearl export, and I hate the finish of it. And chrome is it's like when the lights reflect off it and stuff, it's eye catching, but it not in a good way in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it would stand out too much. It's clearly not a Ringo kit. So
Yeah.
they're not too far. Like I was worried about this at first. I was like, just so you know, I don't have like a Black Oyster swell.
Yeah.
So I know, like, oh, don't worry about it.
And they
We'll
ain't
sort
cheap.
it out. Yeah.
They are not cheap.
Yeah, they're not, unless you got to deal with Ludwig. So,
Mhm.
but even then and stuff, you know.
Fallen Dwarfs, hello.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Ludwig, yeah, they're cool. They helped us out at one point.
Yeah.
During the show, a few companies did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Was it Zildjian?
No. So
Wait, hang on. Did you go to Drum Doctor
Drum Doctor.
in LA?
I went to Pro Drum Shop in Hollywood
Oh, right.
at one
Okay.
point, which was pretty cool. They have all sorts there.
Mm-hmm.
They have-
Continue.
yeah, and yeah. So the breakable situation was because it was so last minute. I got the call to go do it.
Right.
Like it was 1 or 2 weeks before,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't. At first, I wasn't gonna pack a suitcase. I was
Mhm.
just gonna take my backpack and
Yeah.
and a snare.
Ooh.
That was the plan. I know, and that's I fully set on doing that until my mum was just constantly. She was going on and on and on. She's like, "No, you'll need this and this and this," and she made me paranoid. I was like, "Oh my god, you're so right. I'm gonna need shorts. It's gonna be hot." Not once did I wear shorts.
Really?
There was don't get me, like there were some like 40-degree days, like some
Yeah.
roasting hot days, but because of the way it all worked out, like in LA, we'd get calls to do gigs or go to like after parties and stuff last minute.
Mhm.
So it was almost like we always had to like wear our uniform,
Right,
which was
yeah.
just like all black kind of rock
You
star
got to
attire.
represent Fallen Doves wherever you go because it's about brand image. you know?
Exactly, but it's also because if I've got like, as I mentioned before, if I had like my red, Vans on or whatever, I wouldn't have been allowed in certain places.
Yeah.
And they don't want to ditch me. You know, they're nice people. They want to look after me.
Yeah.
So for the sake of everyone being able to maximize the opportunities, I had to dress the part.
They could have sent you in an Uber and been like, "We're going for a party. You can jib off in your red Vans."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I thought they were taking the piss at first. Genuinely, I did until I went to, West Hollywood and they introduced me to my stylist Cosmo and JJ, and they pointed out, oh, just so you know, if you wear that in this area, because I had a red bandana. And
yeah, the famous red bandana from your Instagram. I know. the
yes,
one. Yeah.
which is fine to wear here, right?
Yeah,
Like, people
yeah.
love it. But I wore that over there,
Yeah.
and people like I came to the conclusion I can't wear bandanas in California because in some areas, it was like, oh, dude, you can't wear a red bandana. Like, people will think you're gang affiliated. And I was,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh, you're so right. And then, so we go to Hollywood, and I'd be like, oh, is there like a gang affiliated thing here? And they were like, oh, no, it should be fine. And then someone else was like, oh, but just so you know, and I'm not making this, I promise I'm not making this up. In the gay community, there's like a culture where like there's a language of bandanas, like depending on the different color,
Oh god.
you want like a different service sort of thing. And so, you know, like we'd frequently, as we're going around Hollywood, sometimes we'd find ourselves in like the, you know, in West Hollywood where all that kind of takes place. And one of the colors, I don't think it was red. It was one of the colors meant something like, "Oh, just take me, just like don't ask any questions."
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
So when I found out about this, I was like, "Geez, thanks."
That's gotta be scary.
That would have been good to know. And so I was like, okay, as much as I love this red bandana, I'm no, absolutely not.
You'd have hid that. You'd have put it down your pants. You'd have put it in your suitcase, zipped it, lock it, get rid of it.
That's
burn
exactly
it.
what, you know. And it's still over there. I've still got my Tamistar phonic snare and my suitcase over in LA.
Damn. So you didn't get it back?
Well, I think they're bringing it over.
Oh, because they're coming over here.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is that announced?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When they coming over?
I think the first show is September 14th.
Oh, okay. Soon then.
Yeah, I think the one's in Liverpool, and then we've got one in the Cavern Club on the 18th.
18th of October.
Yeah. No, September.
Oh, September.
Yeah. And like some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. Right, I'll have to come to that then.
Yeah, we'll put you on the thing.
That would actually be pretty sick.
We'll
I'd love to meet the rest of your band and stuff, and hello to the band if they're watching and stuff, you know.
I think they'd like you.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Well, you're just a cooler drummer than me, you know. You got the image sorted out.
Mate, I'm just
I've
a rip off
always
Craig Reynolds. Leave me.
Yeah, but even just like the tats and stuff are cool, you know. I've always been fairly awkward with fashion. Like I've never, like every good outfit I've ever had has always been like someone else's creation.
Right.
You know, like I used to drum a lot for you know Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like the iconic. I just wear it a lot. The red shirt that I have. I love that red shirt. It's like my lucky red shirt. I think I was out with her when, and she was like, "Oh yeah, buy that," and she like styled it, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta wear this belt and this necklace and stuff."
Yeah.
And I got like some of my first like proper really nice good gig photos that night, and I was like, "Oh okay, the outfit actually does matter."
Pasties everywhere until I get another gig where I get good
Exactly,
pictures.
exactly, and so it was just kind of like variations of the same like few outfits.
Yeah.
You know, I do care about it. I just think I am a bit fashion blind. I've got to like I need other people's input.
Yeah.
So you know, it's good to have other musicians around me because usually the girls are more savvy on how to dress.
Yeah, you'll get in a band like with Sophie, and it's like, right, you're having this. Cool, you look great.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just gonna check that this is still recording.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And if I'm still in frame, because I think the angle might have changed. I don't know.
Let's have a look. Oh, we're in. I think. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're still recording vocals.
Sweet.
Let me press that. Yeah, we're still on. Cool stuff. Yeah, we're still in.
Sweet.
Yeah. What band was that with Sophie?
Oh, we're in loads because like she's got her. I think she's got a band right now, Red Coven. Her partner's band, Wild Affair. She's got her solo stuff, but I'm not so much involved with that.
She don't stop, does she?
Yeah, you know she does. It's good. Like I like working with musicians who just, you know, they just do shitloads.
Yeah.
You know, I like people who you can tell are actually like driven, and so pretty much all of my musician friends I see the most are involved with like 10 different things.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just kind of how it is.
You see, I'm like reducing what I'm involved with now and focusing on specific little things. So like, I've got one more gig left with Jason, and then I'm done with Jason. Yeah. Which is sad, but it's like, you know, it was my first tour experience and stuff. So I'm
You'll
leaving
find more for sure.
Well, I'm doing the last Jason gig in Newcastle, September 20th, and then I'm focusing on my band Paradigm.
Yeah.
And then also we'll be doing this podcast, because I started doing this podcast. Well, literally this is like 7 days old now.
Yeah.
This idea happened 7 days ago, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's order some microphones, let's get them in, cool beans, done.
Yeah.
And now I'm like recording like 5 people this week, and it's like, Jesus.
Yeah. I get that. It's like I was saying before, how the original, because I started gigging when I was 12, 13, and immediately the strategy I decided to take, because very quickly I was like, okay, I want to drum full time.
Yeah.
Was a drum for like 10 bands at once, and if one's not doing something cool within a couple of months, swap them out. Which sounds so malicious, I know, but like crafty 13, 14-year-old Jamie was just like so desperate to do cool things, because it was, you know, it's almost like this competitive drive of because, you know, like all the musicians I'd work with will be older than me. Like historically, it's always been that way, and so because of that, they'd get access to more opportunities. People take them more seriously. And so I just had this massive drive to do cool stuff quick. And that got me to a certain point, which was great.
Yeah.
But then when I take on gigs that are generating, you know, money, I'd start having to be more selective, because it's, you know, if I commit to 2 bands and each of them have one weekly rehearsal on different days, but then one of them days someone says, oh, hey, I've got a gig at the Cavern here for you. Like if I want to, you know, keep that and earn money from it, I just have to take it. And so I'd say like maybe like 3 months before this tour, I started like, I'm not a dick about it. I'm quite cool. You know, I'd find replacement drummers for me.
You see, I always do that.
Because I don't want to leave on bad terms. So I always message people, and I'm like that I think would be a good fit.
Yeah.
And like, hey, look, you know, would you like to join this band?
Yeah.
And it's always worked out. Like I've never, I don't think I've ever like left a band on bad terms, and or if we have, we've like reconciled.
Yeah.
So
you've got to leave professionally as well as the way you started. You got to start professionally and end professionally.
Yeah.
Usually it starts professionally and it usually doesn't end professionally, but you can tell how, I've said professionally so many times.
Yeah.
You can tell how professional someone is by the way the band ends or the way they leave.
Yeah, because like stuff gets around. Like I just because like there's certain people like yourself, for example, where I'll see the name and I'm like, oh, at some point I know we're gonna meet and something will happen. And it did. And for example, I don't know if you know this, I was in a band with Matthew.
With Matty Howarth?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What band?
So he was...
You weren't in Linkway, were you?
No.
Before me?
No. But he was very briefly in a band. I don't think it was his thing at all, to be honest.
Right, fair.
He was very briefly in a band called Half Long Poem. That was with...
He was in Half Long Poem?
Yeah. Which was my band with my good friend Emilio.
Right.
He's like dude, that's a whole story we can unravel. But yeah.
Was this recent, like last few years?
I don't know. I think it was like 2020. It was either 2021 or 2022.
So it'd have been while I was in Linkway. That must be how we met on Instagram.
I think it was because I think we both done the Cavern Pub open mic, right? Or we both done Sound City.
I didn't do Sound City.
Okay.
I still haven't done Sound City.
Yeah.
Wish I have.
It was cool.
Yeah. It would have probably been Cavern open mic.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because I remember playing that, snapping a stick mid-gig. Yeah. The stick flew and nearly hit some fella on the head. And he came up to me at the end of it and went, I think you've dropped something at me. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
That exact same thing. That's like kind of like an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Like accidentally like harming someone.
I know, yeah. I get scared as well because when we play a Jason show, because it's always like we give like chuck a stick out at the end, but it's like the one time.
Toss, not a throw.
Yeah, exactly. But the one time I tossed it out, it hit someone's shoulder and landed on the floor, and I heard it hit the floor, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
No one caught it. No one wants it. And then I was like, I'm never giving out a stick again.
Oh, that's awful.
And now I wait for people to be like, can I have a stick?
Yeah.
Because like if I just throw it out and no one catches it, then I feel like the absolute world's biggest dickhead.
Right. I've wanted to talk to someone about this for a while. Tell me I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You've had like after a show, people have like asked for like sticks, picks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give them the good shit because sticks are expensive, man.
They are.
I think I seen a post on your story once.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you play, is it Vic Firth Extreme 5As?
You know me well, yeah.
Is that it?
You've done your research as well, haven't you?
I just have mental notes of this. I don't know why. Just like things like that, I just remember.
Yeah.
And so But I remember like someone tagged you in a post, and they're like, "Oh, we got some sticks from the Jason Allen show," and it was like I think it was a black Vic Firth Nova 2B, and I was like, "Oh, he doesn't play them." Or
I played them. Every stick I give out, I have used and played, but it's like I play it.
Yeah.
Don't like the feel. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Gonna give it to someone.
Yeah. Exactly. Just because like they are legitimately tools. Like my favorite. I kind of go through phases, but for the last like 8 months, I fell in love with Bopworks Art Blakey signature sticks.
Damn.
I think they're an 8A.
8A.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like,
I kind of love them.
really?
Yeah. So because
Does that feel like a piece of string in your hand, or like dead thin?
yeah, they're really thin. I'll have to let you use them sometime. Like I personally love them because I started doing some sessions with Colin George Lamont, a fantastic Liverpool drummer. I think I've mentioned him to you. And I wanted to fix some holes in my playing because all the shows I were getting booked for, like, you know, rock, funk, you know, everything in between, occasionally metal. But I like at this point, I'd never done, well, I'd done like maybe like 2 jazz gigs, but they weren't like to a super high standard. And so I wanted someone.
It's just a Spangalang, chill back and listen to stuff.
Yeah. And immediately one of the first things he recommended, like one of the conversations we had, it was, you know, dynamics are super important, and it's not that they're not there, it's that the range is this and it needs to come down, so you can either alter your playing or simply just use a lighter stick. So it was such a simple thing, I know, but it just didn't occur to me. So I went to ADC Drums when the store was still open, and then, well, I think they're in St. Helens now.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, I hope they open up again in Liverpool. We'll get onto that though.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Andy recommended these sticks to me. I started using them and I love them because at the time, as well as practicing like all my wall grooves, I was doing a lot of like super, like Zach Grooves-esque, like fusiony stuff.
You got into the chops.
And so exactly, and because they're lighter, it's kind of easier to play faster.
Right.
And
yeah.
so
it's also easier to play quieter and get the ghost notes crispy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is what I liked about it. That said, though, thicker sticks, I like have their purpose for me. Like most of the shows with the Falling Doves, for example, on tour, I actually didn't break. Well, no, I did break a pair of sticks, but I didn't break any of the non-fin. So I only broke those 8As, and afterwards I realized, oh, actually, yeah, I don't want to burn through these.
Yeah.
Because like some of the shows were fairly heavy.
Yeah.
So I think someone got me some nylon Extreme 5As.
Right. Yeah.
And they just lasted for the rest of the tour.
Nylon or wood?
Like in general.
Wood tip or nylon? Yeah.
It kind of depends.
I'm not a nylon fan.
Right. Okay. I've actually got a really strong argument for them.
Really? Go on.
Yeah. Then. Okay. So I usually prefer wooden tips on sticks simply because demos I will see in products 99% of the time are just wooden tip.
Right. Yeah.
So like I don't know. I feel like logically it just makes sense if you want close to that sound, you know, replicate the conditions, use a wood tip. Sure. Yeah. And also I've had issues with like some nylon tips flying off.
So many times.
Exactly. However, the cymbals I had to use in California, I thought I was under the impression that they were these like Minor Byzant series cymbals.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that's brilliant. I don't have to bring any of my own stuff over. And I got there, and it was Minor HCS stuff. So it was like lower end cymbals. I try not to be like a cymbal snob, but the reality is like the sound, like it is the cymbals you use are a part of your sound.
100%.
And so when you have these like tinny cymbals with a lot of high end, it's kind of annoying. Like the you know, the crash is like ear piercing.
It's not just
stuff.
the drums, but it makes the band sound not as good.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so I was just looking into like whatever I could do to make these things sound better. It was like, okay, I'll play lighter. I was using lighter. Like at one point I was like using like the 8As on the hats just so they were quieter, and you know, like something thicker for my snare that I brought. And for whatever reason, I found that using nylon tips on the hats and the ride, you would think logically it you know has like a higher pitch sound, but it was a mellower sound for me, I found. And fair. So that little experiment was like that satisfied the band and myself. Yeah. So I don't know if that'll work for everyone, but in this specific scenario, like doing that kind of like you know, saved some of the you know, yeah,
that's fair. What I found with specifically the 5A Extremes
Yeah.
is that I was between 5A and 5B are the two pairs of sticks I've ever been bought. So they're the only ones I've been bought like when I was younger. So the 5A I found I can go quite quick and I can play quite quietly.
Yeah.
5B, my hands got tired because I was only young and they were big sticks, my hands, and I was like, damn, my wrists are starting to die here. But I could play louder.
Yeah.
But what I also found is with a heavier stick, you get more momentum when you're playing quicker. It's harder to get the momentum going, but if you're doing a long roll around the toms, you get the momentum with a heavy stick.
I find them easier to control.
Yeah.
So I was learning. I got really into Tony Williams' playing, and I wanted to be, the quintuplet ride patterns that he does, like single-handedly.
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with figuring that out. I literally spent like a whole day like doing it, and then I got it in the end. But like what made it click was just simply use it. It was like a 2B stick, and like, because there was just more surface area, I found I was able to control it and get like the push pull side of the quintuplet down. And then after I like worked my way down back through sticks.
Yeah.
And then once I got them flowing on the 8As or whatever size they are.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on 8A. I think it's 8A. I could be wrong. I was able to play them a lot faster. And so like generally for most things, especially it's in studio recordings, I find naturally I find in studio settings I get asked to play louder. So already I'm like 5A minimum.
Yeah.
But just like personal practice stuff, if I'm trying to hear something at a certain tempo and it's harder to play with a larger stick, I'm just going to use something lighter.
That's fair.
Which is those Bopworks Art Blakey signature sticks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, because the 5A Extreme have a slightly longer tip. And
that's what I like about
that. Gets the momentum for me. It's got the
Yeah.
momentum of a 2B and the weight of a 5A. So it's like the perfect medium for me.
Yeah.
I also don't break many of them. I
Yeah.
go through them pretty slowly.
Yeah.
So when
I don't break them, sticks too often, even with like intent. I find like I used to when I was younger, and I think I assume technique just got better.
Yeah.
Because like it's just small
Probably,
things
yeah.
like when you're swishing a crash as opposed to like hammering it. Like
that's when I learned pretty quick.
Yeah, because at a certain point I was like, geez, this is just expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like only like 12 quid for a pair of like for 5As or whatever, but when you're like 13, 14, you don't have a job and you're in school, it's like I can't be asking my mum for like 20 quid every week.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It's one of them.
I figured out as well for getting the dynamics better was playing. This is a trick I learned from Nathan Shingler. Do you know Nathan Shingler?
No.
Young Drummer of the Year 2019.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I had a couple of drum lessons with him over lockdown, and he taught me that. I don't know if he said it was a hack or something I shouldn't do, but I carried on doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Was play your ghost notes closer to the rim of the snare instead of in the middle, because instantly it gets quieter. And I was like, oh shit, that's how they do it. Damn.
So right, I actually do that, but only in certain tunings. So by default, like I usually crank my snares.
Right. Yeah.
Like my like in my head, I don't know if you've seen, I forget his name. Luke Holland's drum tech. I was about to say Tom Holland then.
I know Tom Holland.
Luke Holland's drum tech has like
His YouTube,
you
the
onto
POV
this.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
onto this. The snare sound that he produces, it's like a cranked, but it's not. It's
still
super
fat.
high pitched. That's what what I mean. It sounds crazy. It's cranked, but it's fat. That's what I go for, and I find I am able to replicate.
Yeah.
And in that tuning, I find I'm sticking to the center. Like pretty much all the time, and I'm able to get the sensitivity levels there.
Right. Yeah.
But like I've spent so much time kind of messing with my snare configuration to get that. So I like 13-inch with the Tama Starphonic I got from ADC is a 13x7, and I changed the wires on there from I think like a 14 strand to a 28 strand.
Damn.
Yeah, and I found I got so much more sensitivity.
I haven't tried more strands yet. I think I need to do that.
When my snare gets back over from LA, you can.
That would be fun.
You can, have your way with it.
Have my way with the snare drum.
Yeah, I'm kind of bonded to it now though.
Yeah.
I thought for a while my favorite snare. I picked it up at the most recent UK drum show. I don't know if you've seen my staved wood Lightning McQueen snare drum.
I have not.
I'll show you a picture afterwards.
A Lightning McQueen snare drum.
Yeah, basically. So there's this drum company, Primus Drums. Shout out Primus Drums. Primus. They make really cool. They're like logos of Gorilla. They're based in Nottingham, I think.
Right.
And they were at UK Drum Show, showing a bunch of their snares, and they were all of them all of them were absolutely gorgeous, amazing finishes. You'd look on the inside, and it's like different sections of wood. Like they've like fused different woods together. It's a staved snare drum shell, and so they were all pretty pricey, and all of them looked amazing. And I was like, oh, I want one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at the first one. It's gorgeous. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
About $8,000.
Second one, I think the one that initially caught my eye was like $1,000, and then I look over, I see this. I don't want to say ugly, but certainly not as appealing. Lightning McQueen, like it's got like Rusty's like the logo on, and it's I think it's a 14x8.
How much?
And I think it was £600.
Oh my god, worth it though.
And
just for the likes and the comments.
I can't explain it. I was just drawn to it, and it was a proper stupid drummer impulse buy.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it. It's actually a fantastic snare. However, because I loved it so much, I didn't want to take it with me on tour.
Yeah.
Because I was that
would get robbed.
I don't think so. You know, I because it's got no like the Tama one's got like the Tama badge on it. So like people might, I don't know, but like people might see it and go, oh yeah, that's a company. Whereas they see Primus and go, and they like Google it and be like, oh, it's a small company in Nottingham. So I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm more likely to if I were to steal a snare drum, I'd want to steal the Lightning McQueen snare drum.
Yeah.
But it's like pretty. It's
or a
pretty
bell
thick.
brass.
I think I think it is like an inch thick or something. So it's in hindsight, I don't think it would have cracked.
Yeah.
But I'm still glad I took the Tamistar Phonic.
Yeah.
Which did get some cosmetic damage, but I actually kind of love that because it's just like road wear.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
exactly.
That's like the first time I've actually had anything, I guess, beyond sticks. Maybe cymbals. I think I've never even cracked one of my own cymbals. I've bought cracked cymbals. I've never cracked one myself.
I've recently cracked my China, and it's made it sound better.
Really?
My China rings out really long, but now it's like a stack.
It's a bit
now.
drier.
Yeah, it sounds amazing,
That's
especially for
awesome.
what I need anyway.
I love when that happens. I did have that happen once. I sent a 20-inch extra thin hammered crash. Mine or Byzance for that I found on like eBay for like £70. Bear in mind, brand new, they retail for like $420 or something.
Jesus, cymbals have gone up, haven't they?
I sent it to Dave at Collingwood Cymbals. He routed out a hole for like £20 to stop the crack from spreading. I liked the sound even more afterwards, and it was just my favorite crash.
Yeah.
I later ended up selling it because I fell in love with another crash. But yeah, it's just cool to have road worn stuff. Like I feel, you know, it's like, oh, it's got a story to it.
Yeah.
You know, like I like when gear actually gets used. It's not just like in a museum or, you know, on some dude's snare shelf.
Yeah. What cymbals are you rocking right now then?
Okay.
What are you chilling with?
I am a massive cymbal nerd.
Yeah, I know.
I am so I do like buy and trade and, you know, like cymbals. Yeah. And I like for the longest time I've been obsessed with the manufacturing process. I'm like this close to doing a cymbalsmith course with Collingwood Cymbals. I'm really thinking about it.
That would be sick.
I am so obsessed with it because I've got the space in the warehouse too.
Daytime you make drums and then nighttime you play them. That would be cool.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be sick.
And so
that's the dream, isn't it, really? Yeah,
but what it's just more important to me because like I always found like I could, but right, because when you grow up and you're young in a gigging scene, you realize very quickly, okay, everyone expects you to bring breakables. What are your breakables? It's your cymbals, your snare, you know, a hi-hat clutch and maybe a kick pedal.
Yeah.
And so immediately you're like, okay, I need to get those things.
Yeah.
And so that becomes a part of your sound. You usually don't have control of the house kit beyond dampening and tuning.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, when I finally did get my first kit, which was given to me for free, so someone on my street was just like giving away a kit. I didn't even see it. Like it was just covered in saran wrap. My dad noticed it. And so I spent like 30 minutes getting it all back to my house. But what I found was even though the shells were bad quality, if I put nice heads on, I tuned it, I could alter that and make it palatable. Whereas a bad cymbal was a bad cymbal.
Yeah, that's like, very true. You're not saving a bad cymbal.
That's what I mean. It's like if it's not... well, I've seen some people buy like thick, gongy B20 bronze cymbals and then have a cymbalsmith like Dave, you know, like trim them down and turn them into something nice. Yeah. But... you know, that's like a whole thing. Yeah.
That's a process just to get a cymbal.
As for like the cheap accessible like B8 or God forbid like brass cymbals, I just found after a while I kind of realized like one of the key differences between myself as like a young gig musician and the people at the level I wanted to be at was they cared very deeply about their sound, about their tunings, their cymbals, and all of that. And so what I play, it constantly swaps out because I have like drum friends in the UK and we'll just like trade cymbals.
Yeah.
And then like we'll ship them to each other and ship them back, and it's just like a trust me bro type process.
Yeah.
So as of recent, I recently traded some Minor Byzance 14-inch Benny Greb signature sand hats. Say that 10 times fast. For some 14-inch Zildjian K Dark fat hats.
Nice.
I'm not sure which ones I like more. Obviously the sand hats are drier. I find the fat hats are better in an all-purpose studio setting, which is what I use them for. I done a recording session at this place on I think it's Briar Street Studios. They just opened up in Kirkdale. But stuff changes out all the time. My favorite crash right now though is it's a 20-inch vintage vintage crash by Meinl. I kind of love it. But also the ride, the polyphonic I got from Craig.
I know the one from Craig. Yeah.
I'm sure that's fine to say.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because surely the logic or the way you'd frame it is, oh well, he moved away from Meinl for a reason, so that's why he sold his stuff because it's like inferior. So I guess from a PR point of view, I'm sure there's no issue of saying that.
That should be fine.
But yeah,
and he's gonna watch this.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait 3 years, me and you end up in court.
Oh no. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Craig on the other side.
Fuck you.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, but basically he just after getting signed to Zildjian, sold off a bunch of the Meinl stuff. Yeah. I got the polyphonic ride. I fucking love it, to be honest. I won't lie. It's literally my favorite ride. I've had so many rides. I do have some things on my list though.
Are you gonna get the new Craig ride if you get a chance? Yeah.
That's one of the things on my list. Because I don't subscribe to any particular like brand, Yeah. I just like it because my philosophy is, the reality is, it's all the same alloy or alloys depending on like what series. Generally the techniques are all there, and in many cases it's the same foundry or same cymbal smiths. Like obviously if we look at the company Istanbul, that's obviously split out now into Agop and Mehmet, but originally it was just one company. And I think, I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me on it, I think the guys at Istanbul and Mehmet in like 2008 done some stuff for Meinl, right? Or at least it was in the same factory, or something like that. But there's loads of crossover, especially between like the smaller brands. And so, for me, it's just like, does it sound fit for purpose? Beyond that, it's superficial factors. Like one of the reasons I fell in love with Meinl is because they go so hard on their sound, on their like sound bites. Like on YouTube, you can find all the clips of various drummers playing your specific cymbal in so many different contexts. And so for me, that lets me make a more informed choice, which is what I appreciate. And you can still find it with other brands, because obviously you get like Sweetwater and other like retailers do demos. And Zildjian do have their sound lab, but I like seeing it. I know it's silly. I like seeing the video paired with the sound, just because it's like I can see, oh, when he hits this hard, he gets this sound. That sort of thing. So
that's what I found with my 20-inch crash cymbal, is it's very hard to have it in any setting other than metal. Because as soon as you hit that, it's like it's the loudest thing in the room.
That's the thing. I like my fin crashes. I think like all my crashes are like pretty thin crashes. And they're not all quiet. I used to have this conception. I was like, oh, I don't want fin cymbals, it's going to be too quiet. And then when I started getting into, like jazzier stuff, I was like, oh, actually, I would like some quieter, drier cymbals. And then I found, oh, these are surprisingly loud. You actually have to play them as an instrument to make them quiet.
I'd never bought thin cymbals because I'm scared of breaking them. I'm scared of cracking them.
Because
like that. I hit hard, as you probably know.
I get that.
Because metal and stuff, and I just.
That's fair enough.
Fun fact: when I played District, my snare drum wasn't mic'd up.
Oh yeah.
There was a mic on it, but he didn't turn it on.
Battered it. Wow.
Yeah, he didn't turn it on, and the snare drum was filling the room with just me hitting it, and I was like, oh,
yeah, that's cool.
On the dynamics again.
It's a big venue too.
I know, yeah. I don't know how I did that, but did it. On the dynamics thing again, is one thing I've learned is that doing rim shots if you do them closer, so to get a huge rim shot, you hit about the middle of the stick, roughly, right? And I learned the hard way, but that my pocket was awful. I wasn't playing in time very well, but I've got a bit better at that now.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned was that, but the what distinguished me and other drummers my age that sounded better was that they rim shot everything. But whether they're rim shotting it in the middle, they're not doing that in like a groove. They rim shot further down the stick, and they're still rim shotting and still getting that rim shot sound, but it fits with the groove better.
Yeah.
And then that's when my drumming changed a little bit again. It's like these little things that I learn over time that makes me better. I imagine you're the same.
Yeah, definitely. There's like just like there's just like so many small like
Details.
yeah, like so many, and like for the longest time, like my like all I was focused on was just learning new techniques, chops, like songs, and just basically just fucking living in my practice room and becoming better skills wise.
Yeah.
And then I sat down with like a close drummer friend, and he explained, like as silly as it is, the superficial things you wouldn't consider contribute to you being perceived as a good drummer, like being a good person to be around, like having a car, for example.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know what
People
I mean?
love that.
Yeah, people absolutely love that.
Yeah.
People love it when you can drive them around.
As soon as I could drive, it was like everyone was like, "Oh, can I have a lift? Can you gig here though?"
Exactly. And so, like for the longest time, I would see all this like dep work people would send my way on Facebook, and I'd be like, "That's 40 miles. I can't get my stuff there. It's not happening."
Yeah.
And then so I started booking lessons and a bunch of stuff, and then I done an audition for like a cruise contract.
Yeah.
And I got accepted for it, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm gonna go away for 6 months
and pay no tax." It's overseas. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Moving on. I ended up deciding not to do it because when I gave my notice to my full-time like software job, they basically turned around and said, right, how about instead of quitting, we'll let you just work 2 days a week of your choice.
That's the dream.
Remotely.
Amazing.
So I said,
to be there. You could do it while on the cruise ship.
No, I don't think so.
Double money.
I think it would have been way too much. I did consider
Probably.
it. I really thought about it, and I think they would have said yes, but I think my brain would have exploded because I would have been having to like memorize charts and then also like code on my days off, and I think I just would have exploded after
Them
like
cruise
6
ship
months.
musicians work hard. I don't know how they do the stuff they do.
Some of the gigs are easier than others.
Yeah.
Like some of them, there are non-reading positions which you can do.
That's what I do. I mean, I can read, but I won't be able to do the given 10 songs and say, right, you're on in 15 minutes. Here they are. And it's like,
yeah. Well, yeah. Like there's certain agencies like you audition and they kind of suss out like what you'd be best for, and like some people work their way up. But anyway, I decided to like stay on land and see what work I could find there.
Yeah.
And I might be getting my timeline mixed up. I think after this happened, that's when I'd done the first like the UK tour with the Falling Doves for the first time. I think so. And then I just kept putting off getting my lessons done and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was silly, but I was just doing so much at the time. And then when I finally started booking them again, I get a call. Hey, do you want to come to Japan?
Yeah.
And so I got to cancel them all again.
Yeah.
And so now I've decided there's categorically no way I'm leaving the UK until I get it all sorted because I've missed out on so much work and so much stuff by simply not having a car of my own to drive around.
You need to get that. The car will free you.
I know.
You can work where you want. You can get a job where you want, you know.
I know. Well, yeah, but I do my software stuff remotely, like 2 days a week, and then everything else is like local drum related gigs or like session work or so it is what it is. I usually find myself floating between like Liverpool, Manchester, and London though.
Yeah.
Like 80% of the time Liverpool though.
Yeah.
70, 80.
So, in closing, what was your favourite genre again? Because I don't think you actually told me.
I didn't because it changes all the time. I know it's such a cop out. I know, but like it legitimately does change. It legitimately does change depending on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like right before this tour, I was like studying a lot of what Steve Jordan was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, who I ended up seeing play with the Rolling Stones,
Jesus.
like a couple days before we left to Japan. That was a complete surprise. Like we got invited to see them,
Cool.
and then we seen them. It was awesome, but it was just like a full circle moment. And so during that period, it was like like classic rock. But generally, when I find when I'm in Liverpool and I'm in my routine of being in my practice space constantly, the things that interest me are whatever's rhythmically exciting, and so it tends to be like jazz fusion or prog metal
Right.
type stuff.
So
I think at the minute I'm in a prog metal-y mood.
that's crazy, that, because my band's prog metal.
I know.
So
It's wild.
what I'm gonna say to you is you need to make a prog metal band.
Okay, I thought about this.
Using
before.
5 members.
5 members.
A drummer, 2 guitarists, a bass player, and a vocalist. Okay? But they can be from any prog metal band, and it's just got to be the best supergroup in your opinion.
Okay, so I thought about this before, because there's so many prog drummers I like.
Mm-hmm.
For me, after much consideration, it comes down. I think it comes down to Matt Gartzker or Clay Eschliman.
Okay. So who are you going to choose?
I want to say, I mean, they're both fantastic drummers, but what I like about Matt, I actually like Polyphia's music more than Animals, but I like Matt's attitude and like scholarly approach to drumming is really cool.
Yeah.
Like he's got a YouTube channel, like he done a video on like the history of fusion.
Yeah.
Like and like how it came about and stuff. And it's I don't know, I just love the way he approaches drums from like a very like student like point of view. And so just because of that personality aspect, I think it'd be cool to have him playing. Maybe it would generate some more unique ideas.
So Matt Garsk is number 1.
Yeah, he's drumming for me.
Let's go for your bass player.
Oh, my bass player. Okay, that's a hard one.
Can you name
A couple, yeah.
Yeah.
But by default, I just kind of want to pick all of Polyphia. I'm not gonna lie. I love. I've got a story for you. Sorry, I'm not answering the question. I know my mate broke Clay Gober's headstock, I believe.
Really?
At a Polyphia show in Manchester.
Jesus, that's not fun.
Yeah, is it with Jimmy or Ethan? Well, it was on like the last song. They were like crowd surfing. Someone got launched into the stage, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And broke his headstock.
I think so. Yeah. That's what I was told.
That's not cheap.
Well, I imagine he gets them for free.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, the guitar's not the headstocks, but yeah.
So your bass player?
I don't know. I guess Clay Gober. Yeah. I kind of love Polyphia.
You love Polyphia.
I really love Polyphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and your 2 guitar players. So you've got Matt Garsker, Clay. What's his surname again?
Clay Gober.
Clay Gerber, and then 2 guitarists. What are your 2 guitarists?
My 2 prog metal guitarists. I mean, I can't just have it be the Polyphia lineup, can I?
You can't.
I can't. I feel like that's awful.
I'm going to say no more Polyphia.
No more Polyphia. Tim's so cool though. I don't even know. I don't know that. I don't think I know the name of Tesseract's guitarist.
Yeah.
But I really like Tesseract.
Tesseract are very good.
Yeah, whoever the lead guitarist of, I think they have 2. Is it 2 or 3?
I don't
know. But whoever's doing the guitar stuff there.
Yeah.
That guy or girl.
You have him, the guy or girl, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another one.
What is this for vocal? I have to pick a vocalist.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't particularly care about vocals in a prog metal setting.
Yeah.
It's like kind of an afterthought for me.
Fair.
Yeah, like for me the appeal is just the rhythmically interesting side of things.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's.
So you do an instrumental band.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, so a second Polyphia basically.
Yeah, well, I had briefly, like 4 months before tour, I had this. I guess you could call it fusion. This trio with me, like a local sax player, and like a electronic key / bass dude, and we were set to like play some shows at Fredericks and that. But then the sax player got a contract in China.
Right.
His name's Mayo. He's a really good like Liverpool sax player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a contract in China. He ended up deciding to come home. But then like basically as he came home, I left. And so it's just one of them, and it just didn't come to be. But I think, not that I am doing any original projects at the minute, but if I were to, it'd be something fusion or prog or
definitely
something where I can just experiment and include the things I'm studying.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
sick, cool. Well,
Yeah.
just to reiterate, you've got Matt Garsker, you've got Clay,
yeah,
and then both the guitarists from Tesseract, which I currently
think so.
can't name.
yeah. I forget the name. So to be honest, like I feel like. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit closed-minded of me, but like most bands, I know the drummer and like no one else.
Yeah.
Like I have to really like for me to know the bassist of a band, I have to really like that band.
Yeah.
You know.
I get you. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Nice one.